What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what really moved it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close slightly in the green, 0.57%, 27.56 the low, 29.09 the high, and a fair amount of volume. So 61.4 million shares being traded, 68.7 is the average. So there was a lot of different things happening today. So kind of a unique circumstance. So we did have a lot of bold words coming from China during the pre-market. Interestingly enough, market didn't care all that much, started to move higher. And the reason why I think the market's not really been caring so much about China is because we got a catalyst given to us yesterday, and that was Powell saying those sweet whispers of nothing, or whatever that damn phrase is, about rate cuts. So he said exactly what the market wanted. And in my opinion, I don't believe the market's actually priced this in, only because of the fears between China and the States. But this is also kind of what now the market's focused on is rate cuts. So right now there's a 97.8% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut for the upcoming meeting on October the 29th. And even for the December 10th meeting, there's another likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So pretty good stuff. But again, there was a lot of fear in the broader market. This is why, aside from SoFi, which did get a good amount of volume, we've seen less and less volume across the board. And so these are some of the kind of comments that 𝗪𝗧 did mention, so feel free to pause it. But it does look like the States is really willing to go head to head with China. So things could really heat up. And again, that is why we did see relatively lower volume across the board. But SoFi, there's a lot of good catalysts, right? We have upcoming earnings. We also do have cryptocurrency, which SoFi did actually come up and posted something earlier today. So roughly 4 hours ago, SoFi said crypto's coming back, seamlessly manageable in our all-in-one app. And so it says and gives some kind of deadlines right here. So still within that December 1st type of date, possibly launch date, even though there wasn't any official news from SoFi. But one thing that SoFi has been doing is they tend to post something on Twitter or social media, and then the following morning they kind of put out news. So don't be surprised if we actually have news tomorrow morning about this right here. So the highly anticipated cryptocurrency is coming. We just have to sit tight and wait what type of other catalysts and partnerships Lucid does have. And I'm sure, since that they are announcing this, that they will be announcing the full partnerships either very close to their earnings or somewhere around there. So we should be hearing some very positive things coming fairly soon. Aside from this, it's pretty much just the market digesting some of the recent analyst ratings. So when I did my video yesterday, TipRanks didn't post one of them. And so we did have this one that came out yesterday, $24 hold. Goldman Sachs has a 45% success rating. So not all that great, but Tim, so this is something I've been stating time and time again, is that we will be starting to see more bearish ratings. Actually, I believe I even said yesterday that we might be seeing some bearish ratings in the second half of this week, or possibly rolling over into the early part of next week. So Tim from KBW did give a sell $18 price target. So kind of comical. Very predictable, mind you. And so I think there's still going to be maybe one or two bearish ratings that do come out from now up until their earnings. I don't anticipate any new ones, only because Compass Point and Morgan Stanley already gave ratings 12 days ago and 16 days ago. But honestly, I wouldn't really put it past them as well, just to reiterate their rating right before their earnings, even though that doesn't make sense. Actually, to be fully honest, giving a rating before a company unveils their earnings doesn't make sense, bullish or bearish. But what do I know in life? So again, that's something that the market did also digest. So there's a lot of different things, good, bad, and the ugly, all coming out. I think generally in SoFi's case, we have rate cuts and cryptocurrency to really look forward to. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Moving on from here, looking at shorts. So now this is the second day of shorts increasing, which is very odd. So they did increase 1.68 million shares today. 9.5% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 112.23 million shares overall are being shorted. So they did kind of increase almost around the same amount yesterday. In my opinion, the reason why they are doing that is a attempt to slow SoFi down, because a lot of stocks did get dragged down with that fear, but you can even see that shorts just hit it hard right near the end of the day. Didn't really do too much to the stock price, as you can kind of see, but still shorts are getting a little bit more active with SoFi. So you're seeing some bearish ratings and shorts get a little bit more active. I don't really see that being that big of a deal in my opinion, but you never know. Depending on how kind of the tensions between the States and China go, things could maybe shorts might be pouncing based on that. Moving on to the options, we did see 74 million in calls, 12 million in puts. 46% of all the options being done were bullish in nature. So despite everything in the broader market, you are still seeing a good amount of optimism. One thing to take note of though, the upcoming earnings, the implied move based on the options is 13.78%. Once we get closer to the date or their earnings, I will be doing a little bit more of a deeper dive on some expectations, what Wall Street is going to be really paying attention to and everything else. But for right now, the options is implying like a 14% move. So almost a $4 move in either direction could be on the table. From a bull standpoint, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $29 to $30 range by the end of this Friday. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of between $27.50 and $28. So the fact that we did close pretty much within that range goes to show that there's a lot more upside. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So a lot of big ones: 56.9, 19.5, 8.6, 5.05. And so going forward, I'm just going to be doing top down, so highest to lowest. So 56.9 was the highest. So feel free to pause it and kind of go through it line by line if necessary. But these are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. Dark pool is often enough used by shorts and hedge funds. So 46.9, and that was done just roughly around 20 something minutes ago. So that was done at 3:43. So if we kind of look at that, that looks like it was ultimately right here. So kind of while it was going higher. So it is fair to assume that it was a buy. When it comes down to dark pool, it is a little bit tricky to determine whether these were buys or sells. You kind of have to do what I just did. Look on the actual price and the chart just to see what happened. Or if you kind of move this based on the time, then you can actually see some of the transactions before and after. But again, 46.9, 6.5, 4.2, 3.2. So a lot of big money still getting into SoFi today, with it closing at 28.03, still smack dab in the middle between this R1 and the pivot. So I'm looking at the 1-day chart on a side note. So these are very strong support and resistance points. So 29.33 is going to be that target for tomorrow, or at least for the foreseeable future. Then 26.81 will be that strong support. For those of you that want to day trade or just dollar cost average, just kind of take a note of this. So with it 28.03, it is between this R1 and the pivot. So 27.10, which wasn't tested today, that's going to be the next strong support. 28.81 and then 29.87 as kind of the target points. Aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart, things are looking pretty a-okay. So it is above that 10-day moving average. Yesterday, luckily enough, it bounced off of that 50-day moving average. So in my opinion, that was one of the big attributing factors why SoFi did have a phenomenal day yesterday. Looking at the market position, you see a lot more kind of willing buyers, more around the $26 range, nothing really close to where we are, but you do see a little bit more willing sellers. Again, that is just probably because of the broader fear in the market right now, which SoFi seems to be doing fairly well considering. But these are all the latest articles, so nothing really crazy if you ask me. One thing I do want to start bringing up is this. So this is the daily short volume. And so of course I bring up shorts almost every single video, but that is net. That is what they have done by the end of the day, whether they've increased or returned. And this shows the overall volume in comparison to just the like full volume, if that kind of makes sense. I think I said that weird, but nonetheless, you are seeing a lot more short activity. So they have been really trying to strategically slow it down. And there is some correlation with the stock price kind of going higher and them increasing their presence. So they are really trying to slow SoFi down. So kind of interesting stuff, another tool to kind of use. So feel free to pause it and go through it if necessary. But aside from that, things are looking pretty a-okay. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Where do you see things going? Are you somewhat concerned over just everything that has been happening between China, or do you think that the market won't really care because it's fixated on rate cuts? In my opinion, I do feel that all this volatility will be a dream come true for anyone wanting to kind of buy the dip. And I think generally a lot of the data that's been coming out as well has really taught a lot of individuals that you need to buy the dip at pretty much any cost. And so far in 2025, it has worked out. So let me know if you kind of follow that mentality, if you're one of those buy the dips, or are you waiting for some very, very large pullback? So let me know your thoughts. One final thing though, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.